The clatter of silverware and loud laughter hit me as soon as I walked into the sunny brunch spot. My family was already seated at a long table, my sister Lydia holding court at the head. I slipped into the empty seat beside my nephew, offering a small smile. Lydia's eyes, sharp and assessing, scanned my simple blouse and jeans. Evelyn finally decided to join us, she announced, her voice slicing through the chatter. The table quieted. We were just talking about career paths. I was explaining to everyone that you're still figuring out your life. She paused, letting the silence stretch. Let's be honest, sweetie. You're basically a nobody. A few uncomfortable titters came from our cousins. My face burned. I looked to my parents for defense, but they just stared at their plates, their embarrassment for me a tangible force. A young waiter refilling water glasses froze, his eyes darting to me with a strange, knowing look. Lydia leaned in, her voice a venomous whisper meant only for me. You should be grateful you're even invited. I left brunch early, mumbling an excuse about a headache. It was true, in a way, a pounding, humiliated ache behind my eyes. In the quiet solitude of my car, the dam finally broke. Hot, angry tears streamed down my face. This wasn't a one-time thing. This was a lifetime of Lydia, the golden child, meticulously dismantling my confidence. She had the husband, the big house, the impressive-sounding job. I had a small apartment and a quiet life she viewed as a failure. My phone buzzed on the passenger seat, the screen lighting up the dim car. It was an email notification, the third one this week from an address I'd been deliberately ignoring. The preview of the subject line made my breath catch. It read, "Confidential, final confirmation needed." Back in my apartment, I finally opened the email. My hands trembled as I read the formal congratulations from the national lifestyle company, Verve Living. I was the national winner of their annual Everyday Innovator Grant. My project, the Clarity Journal, a guided wellness journal for overworked professionals, had won. I'd developed it in secret over 2 years, scribbling ideas after my day job, fueled by a passion Lydia had mocked as a cute hobby. The grant included a $50,000 prize and a national marketing campaign. The email's final paragraph asked for my confirmation to proceed with the Billboard reveal, featuring my portrait and story. I was staring at the screen, my heart thumping, when my phone rang, shattering the silence. I answered hesitantly. Is this Evelyn Walker? A calm, professional voice asked. This is Maya from Verve Living's PR team. I'm calling to confirm the Billboard goes live next Tuesday. We'll have a small unveiling ceremony. Are you prepared for potential press inquiries? I felt a wave of panic. Press? I had envisioned a quiet win, a check in the mail. I never told anyone about the application. They'll want to hear your story, Maya continued. Your resilience, building this while balancing other jobs. It's very inspiring. I thought of Lydia's sneering face. She would see this. She would know. My voice was a whisper. Yes, I said. I'm prepared. But as I hung up, my hands wouldn't stop shaking. 2 days later, Lydia showed up at my apartment unannounced. She swept in, a whirlwind of expensive perfume and condescension. Just checking in, she said, her eyes critically scanning my living room. After your little mood at brunch. She sighed dramatically. You know, you should really put yourself out there. Start dating again. Successful men don't appreciate women who stall. I bit my tongue, refusing to react. She finally got to the point. Daniel and I are going to a conference in Chicago next week. I need you to watch Chloe. It's just for 5 days. She said it like she was granting me a privilege. I took a deep breath. Actually, Lydia, I said, my voice surprisingly steady. I won't be available. Lydia's perfectly sculpted eyebrows shot up. You won't be available, she repeated, as if I'd spoken in another language. Doing what, Evelyn? Let's be real, you don't exactly have a life. The old me would have crumbled, made up a feeble excuse, and given in. But the new me, the one with a confidential grant, felt a spark of defiance. I simply looked at her and repeated the words, calm and firm. I'm busy. I could see the gears turning in her head. I never refused her. Her eyes narrowed with deep suspicion. She gripped her designer purse strap, her acrylic nails digging into the leather. What is it, Evelyn? She hissed, her voice low and dangerous. What are you hiding? The days leading to the reveal were a whirlwind of quiet preparation. I spent my evenings practicing the talking points Maya had sent, rewriting my story until it felt like my own. Every time I stumbled, I heard Lydia's voice in my head, "You're so emotional." That's a delusional plan. You'll always need someone to take care of you. But this time I pushed the voice away. This project, my clarity journal, was my proof. I was building something that mattered. A text message popped up on my screen, breaking my concentration. It was from my brother-in-law, Daniel. My stomach tightened. The message was simple but ominous. Can we talk privately? It's about your sister. I met Daniel at a quiet coffee shop downtown. He looked tired, stirring his latte absent-mindedly. Lydia's, not herself, he started, not meeting my eyes. He confessed that Lydia had been demoted at her marketing firm a month ago. She'd been quietly stripped of her team leadership role. She hasn't told anyone, he said, his voice heavy. Not even your parents. She's terrified of looking like a failure. He finally looked at me, his expression pleading and wary. All this bravado, putting you down, it's a projection. But Evelyn, if she even suspects you're hiding a success, something real, she'll see it as a threat. She'll try to destroy it. The day before the Billboard reveal, I went to the PR office for final photos. The energy was electric. Maya showed me a mock-up of the digital billboard. Seeing my face, my name, and the words creator and innovator was surreal. It's going up outside the Summit Square Mall, Maya said casually. Then she frowned slightly. Actually, I should mention this. Our records show your sister, Lydia Walker, is on the board for the Bright Horizons charity. My blood ran cold. Bright Horizons was having their annual fundraiser at that very mall on the same day. She might be on site, Maya said. The coincidence was staggering. I felt a fresh wave of fear, but it was quickly replaced by a steely resolve. I wouldn't hide anymore. Lydia, fueled by suspicion, began to snoop. She scrolled through my social media, but I hadn't posted in months. She texted a few mutual friends, asking if I'd mentioned a new man or a weird new job. Getting nowhere, she did something she'd never done before. She drove past my apartment after work. She saw me leaving, dressed in a professional blazer and slacks, my hair done. It was so unlike my usual casual wear that her jealousy spiked instantly. She wasn't just curious anymore, she was furious. As I pulled my car out into traffic, she made a sharp, reckless U-turn. She was going to follow me. Lydia followed my car to a sleek corporate building downtown, the home of Verve Living. She parked across the street, watching me walk confidently through the glass doors. She slipped inside the lobby, lingering near a potted plant, trying to eavesdrop on my conversation with the receptionist. She only caught fragments, launch event tomorrow, and, press will want her story. Her mind, conditioned to believe the worst of me, jumped to a conclusion. She thought I was dating someone important, or worse, getting involved in a pyramid scheme. She pulled out her phone, her fingers flying across the screen. She snapped a photo of me in the lobby and sent it to our family group chat. The caption read, "Anyone know what fantasy Evelyn's chasing now?" My phone buzzed incessantly with notifications from the family chat. I ignored it. I was in a conference room, doing a final run-through of my press speech with Maya. My voice was clear and strong. I admitted to myself I was terrified, but beneath the fear was a thrilling current of excitement. Maya smiled warmly. You're a natural, Evelyn. Remember, your success doesn't need anyone's permission. I held on to those words. Just then, she got a text. The digital team confirms, she said. The billboard goes live at 9 a.m. sharp tomorrow. We'll have a small ceremony with the mall management. The moment was here. Reveal day arrived. I got to the mall plaza early. The Verve Living team was already there, setting up a small podium and a red rope around the covered billboard. Camera crews from local news stations were checking their equipment. My eyes scanned the area and my stomach dropped. Just a few yards away, volunteers were setting up tables for the Bright Horizons charity event. And there, in the center of it all, was Lydia. She was directing people with an air of self-importance, adjusting tablecloths and pointing fingers. She looked every bit the successful, charitable board member. Then, her head snapped up. Her eyes locked directly onto mine across the plaza. Her expression shifted from confusion to pure fury. She started storming toward me. "What are you doing here?" Lydia hissed, stopping inches from me. Her voice was low but quivering with rage. "Are you stalking my event? This is a professional function, Evelyn. Get out before you embarrass yourself and our family." A few of her volunteers turned to stare, their faces curious. I didn't flinch. I didn't look away. I simply stood my ground, my calm silence infuriating her further. Just as she was about to speak again, Maya appeared at my side, clutching a clipboard. "Ms. Walker," she said brightly, "we're ready for you. The reveal starts in 2 minutes." Lydia froze, her jaw slack with utter confusion. She looked from Maya to me and back again. "Ms. Who?" she stammered. Before anyone could answer, a countdown began over the loudspeaker. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The massive black screen of the billboard flickered to life. There I was, my face 20 feet tall, smiling confidently back at the crowd. Bold text scrolled beneath my photo, "Evelyn Walker, creator, innovator, community advocate." A wave of gasps and whispers rippled through the plaza, followed by genuine applause. People from the charity event were pointing, their faces showing recognition, but it was directed at me, not Lydia. I saw the moment the words registered with her. Her eyes widened, fixed on the gigantic image of the sister she'd called a nobody. The color drained completely from her face, leaving her pale and utterly still. As the crowd began to press forward to congratulate me, Lydia grabbed my arm, her grip like a vice. She pulled me aside, her voice a raw, desperate whisper. "You did this," she spat. "You did this deliberately to humiliate me." I gently but firmly removed her hand from my arm. I looked her directly in the eyes, my voice calm and clear. "I didn't do this to you, Lydia. I did this for me." Just then, a woman from her charity brushed past Lydia to hand me a card. "We'd love to collaborate," she said, beaming. I heard another person whisper, quite audibly, "I always thought Lydia was the accomplished one in that family." A single, perfect tear traced a path through Lydia's makeup. She turned and fled, pushing her way through the crowd. My phone, silenced in my purse, began to vibrate incessantly. When I finally checked it, the family group chat was exploding. Dozens of messages poured in from aunts, uncles, cousins. "Is that Evelyn on a billboard? OMG. Congrats, Evelyn. What is this for?" Lydia, trying to regain control, had written, "It's just a small local campaign. A contest she entered." But her words were immediately buried. My cousin sent a photo of a second billboard on the other side of the mall. My uncle posted a picture from the freeway entrance. The messages for Lydia were clear, "Lydia, it's on every corner of the mall." Then, my personal phone rang. It was my mom. Her voice was soft and filled with emotion. "Why didn't you tell us, sweetheart?" I spoke to my parents that evening. I told them everything, about the years of subtle and not-so-subtle put-downs, a feeling like my achievements were meaningless next to Lydia's carefully curated life. I told them how I'd stopped sharing my dreams because Lydia always found a way to stomp on them. There was a long silence on the other end. Then my mom spoke, her voice thick with regret. "We knew she could be harsh. We thought it was just sisterly rivalry. We let her talk over you. We never stood up for you." Evelyn, we are so sorry. It was a validation I hadn't known I needed. Later, another email from Maya arrived. The press coverage was fantastic. A major women's leadership conference had seen it and wanted me to give a keynote speech. The following week, the consequences for Lydia deepened. The news of her demotion, which she had worked so hard to hide, leaked out at her company. Her boss, who had attended the charity event and witnessed her meltdown, called her into his office. He was concerned about her unprofessional public conduct and how it reflected on the firm. The perfect image she had built was cracking. The fear she instilled in her junior colleagues was gone, replaced by pitying glances. Sitting alone in her pristine office, she realized the respect she commanded had vanished. She was utterly alone. In a moment of pure desperation, she picked up her phone and called the one person she had spent her life belittling. She called me. Lydia was sobbing so hard I could barely understand her. Evelyn, please. I need you. I'm losing everything. My job, my reputation, everything is falling apart. I listened quietly, letting her pour out her despair. And then, in a broken whisper, she finally admitted the truth. I was jealous. So jealous of you. You were always creative and hopeful. You kept trying new things. I felt trapped. My life looked perfect, but it was a cage I built myself. I felt a pang of sympathy for her. But then her tone shifted, becoming transactional. You have influence now. Your name means something. Could you call my boss? Put in a good word for me? The request hung in the air. I took a deep, steadying breath. Lydia, I said, my voice firm. No. For a moment, there was only stunned silence on the other end of the line. Then, sputtering, she said, What do you mean, no? I mean I will not fix this for you, I said, my tone leaving no room for argument. I have spent my entire life cleaning up your messes and soothing your ego. Those days are over. She lashed out, her voice rising to a shrill pitch. You think you're better than me now, is that it? Just because you're on some stupid billboard? I felt a profound sense of calm. No, Lydia, I replied softly. I don't think I'm better than you. I just finally think I'm equal. There was a sharp, furious intake of breath, followed by the definitive click of her hanging up. In the weeks that followed, my life blossomed in ways I'd never imagined. The initial run of Clarity journals sold out online. The video of my keynote speech was shared thousands of times. My inbox was filled with partnership offers and collaboration requests. My story of being underestimated resonated with so many people. At a small family dinner for my dad's birthday, my parents proudly showed off my journal to relatives, their praise genuine and public. The dynamic had permanently shifted. I was now the one they turned to for advice, for my opinion. The conversation was lively and warm until the front door opened. A hush fell over the room. Lydia stood in the doorway, her posture hesitant. Everyone watched, forks hovering mid-air, as Lydia walked slowly toward me. She didn't look at anyone else. Her eyes were red-rimmed but clear. Evelyn, she began, her voice quiet but steady. What I did to you, for our whole lives, was wrong. I was cruel and manipulative. There is no excuse. She took a shaky breath. You were never a nobody. I was just terrified you'd become somebody before I did. It was a real apology, stripped of all her usual manipulations and justifications. She had laid her vulnerability at my feet. The entire family waited, their eyes fixed on me, wondering what I would do. The power was entirely in my hands. I looked at my sister, truly looked at her, not as my tormentor, but as a flawed, frightened person. I forgive you, Lydia, I said. The room seemed to exhale. But I continued. But things will be different now. My forgiveness was not a return to the old ways. It was an acknowledgement of the past, with a firm boundary for the future. I would not give her back the power to dictate my worth. The poetic justice was subtle but profound. At that gathering, our cousins asked me about my business plans. My parents sought my advice on a financial matter. Lydia sat quietly, observing. She was learning the hardest lesson of all, that respect must be earned, not demanded. A month later, I stood alone in the plaza, looking up at the billboard. My campaign was ending, and the crew was preparing to switch the digital display. I felt a deep sense of peace. I smiled, not out of triumph over Lydia, but with a profound gratitude for my own journey. I had owned my worth. A woman approached me tentatively. "Excuse me, are you Evelyn Walker?" she asked. I nodded. She held up a worn copy of my clarity journal. "This," she said, her eyes glistening. It gave me the courage to leave a situation that was toxic. It helped me find my own voice. "Thank you." In that moment, I understood. My success was so much bigger than revenge. It was about impact. The billboard behind me went dark, but I didn't feel a sense of loss. And for the first time, I wasn't living in my sister's shadow. I was standing in my own light.